Okay, that's got to be the coolest artifact I've ever seen in the Black Hills. I mean, the damn thing looks like some kind of alien spaceship. Welcome to Dakota Prospecting and another adventure. Well, we're out here in a remote location of the Black Hills that's seldom visited by folks and is not very well known. Now, this structure that I'm sitting in is an ore bin. And this mine had been operating during its first discovery around 1893. And then by 1934, 3 mines were consolidated into 1 mine, which this is the result of. There was a 10 stamp mill erected at this site as well. Now there are numerous diggings and exploratory digs all around this place. But right here it was the main shaft. And from 1893 to about the early 1900s, that shaft and mine workings had expanded to about 400 plus feet. So they were pretty busy here. And if you look at the size of these timbers, they're huge. This is one heck of an ore bin. To build something this big meant that they were pulling a lot of ore out of this mine. Now, there are lots of mine tailings around here, and by the size of it, you could estimate that it's probably 2,500 feet of mine underneath us. So I don't know about you, but I'm excited, so what do you say we go around and take a look? All right. Now here's one of the many structures that are on this site. If you look at the investment they did of time and money for building this kind of abutment in here, and if you look above and you see that there's these chocks of concrete that they embedded bolts into to add other equipment, you know that this was a big operation here at one time. They pulled out a lot of gold in this area here, and this is just one of the many structures that it's on the site. So let's walk around and check out some more. So here's the remains of a trestle that is up there. It looks like they had built that mound up in order to get the ore from the ore bin that's up ahead up there. So here's on top of that trestle, what's left of it, and over to the right there is where those foundations are with the bolts anchored inside. And this is the path opposite where the trestle ends, going up towards the ore bin. Okay, so here's one of the many mine tailings that they have here, and between this one and 2 or 3 others that are on this site, I would estimate probably about a couple of 100,000 tons of material. So the mine must have been extensive, really. Probably we're looking at, with this kind of material output, 2,500 feet, I'd say, in length. Here we have the winch foundation, and the shaft is over to my right. Now if you look at the size of this, there's some more concrete footers over there with anchor bolts, but it's known historically that the 3 mines that this made up of at one time interconnected at about the 550 foot level. So we know it's at least 550 foot down. So let's take a look at the head frame and the mine shaft. It's kind of caved in right now, but let's check it out. So here's the pit, or the mine shaft. It looks like they had water and possibly air. That could be an air vent right there. Over there is another structure. Could have been for supplying air, but that's it down in there. and it's obviously all caved in. And where the tailings are is just opposite where we're looking. It would make a convenient place to haul the tailings out. So I'd say, you see that pipe just straight down, collapsed. It's a thin wall pipe, like stovepipe, so I would think that that probably would be for air, is what that is. And then possibly that long pipe you see there, that could have been for air, compressed air, for running jackhammers, and that larger one could have been for water. So that's it right there. Some serious timbers we got down in there. So there's the head frame, what's left of it, and it's pretty massive. So right over there is where the foundation for the hoist, where we were just a minute ago. There's a bunch of wire and cans and stuff. That ought to be interesting. You never know, you might find a really neat bottle or something like that. Here's the bottom of some kind of container, glass. It's pretty thick. Geez, it's pushing 1/4 inch. DES patent 87834. Why the heck you'd patent a bottle, I have no idea. And here's a tin that has a screw cap to it. Obviously it's been cut off. And here's one of those cans. There are lots of them around, and they have a twist lid on the top. If any of you guys know what was in a can like that, there must be, I've seen at least 50 or more around here. I'd appreciate if you put in the comments, because I'm not really sure what was in there. And it's right next to this big old piece of venting. It has a dual side to it. So it was a diverter. And you can see there's the one side and then it diverted to the other side. But yeah, that's that can. Appreciate if you could tell us what that's about. Okay, here's an interesting artifact. It looks like a nasty piece of sausage, but I believe what it is, it's a rubber hose, okay, and it's been reinforced with metal to keep it from bursting. So it's probably an air hose, is probably what it is. A section of air hose that is rotted. The rubber back then was actual rubber from rubber trees. They didn't have synthetic like they do today. That wasn't developed until, I think it was around during the end of World War II or something like that. But prior to that, rubber came from rubber trees, and so it was very soft and chewy. It doesn't hold up as well as synthetic. So I think if that is a pressure hose, then they were using jackhammers, air, and that would explain some of that heavier pipe. Well, somebody's missing a foot. Alright, so here it looks like what's left of a chimney. They're just burning some green wood, because you can see here this creosote. That'll start a chimney fire. Now here's the remains of a building. They dug it out back there, and it probably set right there in that flat area. There's lots of remains like this all around here. There's an old running board off probably a truck, pickup, 30s. More ruins here. There must be at least about a dozen buildings here collapsed, but again, it's a testament to the size of this operation. Okay, that's got to be the coolest artifact I've ever seen in the Black Hills. I mean, the damn thing looks like a piece of art in the middle of the Black Hills, or some kind of alien spaceship. Well, you got to admit, this has got to be one of the coolest things that you can find out here just about anywhere. This is the remains of a cyanide tank funnel, and part of this mining operation that during its heyday was about 900 acres of claim up around 1940. There's possibly still workable ore around here, but it may not be to the level to where once you restore the operations, it's going to be profitable. It's going to take a significant amount of capital investment to bring this back online, and there's no guarantee you're going to recover it. So we're out here just kind of exploring it just for the sake of the historical record, and it's a lot of fun. So that's why you catch me out here. So this is the flying saucer, or one of the iconic artifacts out here at this site. Pretty cool. So after they ran the ore through the stamp mill and extracted the gold from with cyanide, this is where they put the slurry, right here. There's a big old high mound of it, and it extends all the way out. So it's quite a bit of processing going on. So this originally was one continuous berm. That's the other side, and apparently it has eroded out, and there it is there where it eroded through. It's like powder, and that's due to the fact that they were crushing that into a slurry and then extracting the gold out of it from there. It is definitely soft stuff. So you can see how they pushed it out to the edge and filled this in. Originally that was the depth of this area, but they've filled it in with that slurry. And over here you could see it more pronounced, how it had been pushed with a bulldozer and filling in this little ravine down in here. And that's where we were just at. And you can see how that has been filled in. Looky here. That could be a drift over there. That's surprising. Well, let's take a look. Check this out. So now that tarp is recent, obviously. Somebody, they've been working it. And that's what they're chasing right there. Yeah, this is being worked. Huh. I didn't think they had any diggings in recent times, because this operation shut down in the 40s during the war and hasn't been operated since. Okay, it's pretty fractured. This top, not something I'd want to be working underneath. It's only about 10 feet, 12 feet back, and then it stops. But obviously, it's being worked. Interesting. You know, some of this is from the period when this mine was operational, you can tell. Okay, if you look at this over here, you see how they seam that together with rivets? Sounded like a frog, rivet. Well, with rivets. They don't do that anymore. So that's definitely period. And it looks like we got a critter living in there. We got a nice little nest. So obviously this was probably started during the period, and then somebody has come in and tried to rework it. So, and there it is. Huh. Awesome. All right, fellas, that's going to do it for this adventure. I hope to see you on the next one. And if you subscribe, you'll get notified as soon as that video posts. Until next time, y'all stay safe.